are live. Good morning, Betsy. How
Morning.
are you
How are you?
doing?
Great.
How are you doing this morning? What is your morning routine, by the way?
I get up like anywhere between 3 and 5 on a regular basis, and then I go swimming at 6 when the pool opens. I'm there right at 6, and usually I get the pool to myself, which feels really, really luxury. And then I swim for about an hour and 15 minutes. Come back,
You
have a
swim
lot.
nonstop for an hour and 15 minutes.
Well, nowadays, because I'm trying to build a business, I swim, but then I also have all these great ideas going on in my head and think, oh, I must remember that. So I pop out and then hang out by the side of the pool and I talk to ChatGPT Dave or I make a memo to myself and then I go back in. And as part of that, I've discovered, and if Apple executives are listening, I hope you figure out a way for Face ID to recognize me with my swim cap, which is pink, and my goggles on. And then also for the Gorilla Glass to recognize my wet hand when I'm trying to manipulate and type.
Wow.
That would be my greatest desire, Apple.
And
Thank
and
you
you
so much.
don't care how cold it is outside, or like you just sink in no matter what.
Well, the pool is heated, so
Okay.
typically speaking, it's supposed to be 80 degrees, but it's not. It's not always 80 degrees. The pool people tell me that it's oh yes, it's 80 degrees. It's not. But in any case, let's just assume that they've set the temperature correctly. I mean, I live in Southern California, so it maybe gets down to in the 40s during the winter, and then other than that, it's beautiful. So yeah.
Wonderful. And it's good that you get your exercise in the morning. Like we walk the dog usually in the morning, which is great. It like gets the flow coming. So yeah, we're excited to. This is for everyone who's joining. This is week 3 of our kind of program that we developed together with Betsy. As you may know, I run a B2B marketing agency, and we have a kind of a framework, a strategy framework that we work on with clients. And Betsy have a business, and I'll leave you to explain what you do, Betsy.
So I am a strategic business advisor and I work with mid-market SaaS executives in identifying growth and gross margin opportunities. And so um, I am what happens if you take a McKinsey partner and he or she has a baby with an executive coach, and that executive coach grows up to build businesses for big tech companies like Intel, Symantec, and Lenovo.
Wonderful. And I can see how the evolution of your elevator pitch, how it evolved from the first session we had. Because the first session you did not mention your ICP. Now you are mentioning it. So I think we're making progress here. So wonderful.
Well, you made me create one, right?
Awesome. So the first week we have talked extensively on identifying the ideal customer profile. And we had a discussion, we had a presentation on that. And the second week, we talked extensively on value proposition. And part of your homework was to kind of the articulate your value proposition based on this kind of slide, which basically outlines your ICP's biggest pain and matching them or mapping them to your zone of genius or your skill set, and then hopefully to arrive at a dream outcome for your ICP. Once you have that, you could articulate your value proposition here as I help your specific ICP achieve the dream outcome we just came out with, and then adding a time frame to that service or deliverable or solution to the problem, and then handling their objection, whatever that, the chatter they have in their head on why they shouldn't buy from you. So you got to address that here. And then finally, talking about your unique methodology on how you're going to help them, because people are smart. So if you tell them, I'm going to have you lose 30 pounds in 1 week, they're going to, unless you convince them with your methodology, they're not going to believe you. So there's that, the importance of that. And then adding to this kind of a cherry on top, which would be a guarantee. In my case, with my agency, I always say, if unsatisfied within the first 30 days, you don't pay. So this is my guarantee to them. And then finally, the CTA, which could be not necessarily visit my website, could be, but usually I'm going for download my connection offer on this website. So my call to action is more, okay, this is what I do. This is the dream outcome. And if you want to get a taste of that, you can download that freebie on my website. And now we kind of calling them to act. And in doing so, they're handing over their email so that we can communicate with them. So with that being said, what have you come up with?
So, a couple things that I want to say I think are really important about the way that you've defined the value proposition and sort of are integral to my own personal sense of integrity. So, I guarantee that I'm going to give you your money back if you don't see value, but I also am going to give you your money back if I don't feel like I delivered value. And so yesterday I had a call with one of my clients, and I just feel like for the last couple of weeks I've been missing what she needs, right? And she's an executive at a $140 million company. It's a lot. She's spending time with me, and there is an honor in that, and a belief that I need to be doing what she needs, and I've been missing. And so I just told her, like, for the last month's work, I'm not charging you until I get back on track in terms of our alignment and the work that we're doing. Full stop, right? Like, it's not about the money, it's about the value and the delivery. So, yes, 1000% what you just said.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, in the end of the day, and that's the hard part of entrepreneurship. If you're a salaried employee, and that's the easy part of employee, I'm not saying that all employees have an easy job by any means. It's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that you are not completely in charge of delivering value, and in exchange for that value, you're receiving money. Whereas an entrepreneur, that's exactly what you do. You are exchanging something of value with your income. And that's the hard part, where as an employee, you're exchanging your time. You're saying, okay, I'm going to go from 8 to 6. I'm going to spend this time. I'm going to do what my boss wants me to do. I'm going to do the tasks, do the job. And then by the end of the week or the 2 weeks or the month, I will receive my compensation, regardless of whether my work is valuable or not. But entrepreneurship is really connected to value. So that's the hard part. So talk to me. So let's remind the listeners on what is your ICP, what is the dream outcome, and how did you work on the time framing and the objection and the unique methodology?
So, would you like me to tell you where I am with the value proposition?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. So, I had a moment of nervousness because you're like my first audience. Okay. So, when everything's important, nothing gets done. And you can't afford to work like that. In an hour, in working with a SaaS executive, I identified a $1 million conversion opportunity sitting right in front of him. I built a $500 million business from a PowerPoint at Symantec. So believe me when I tell you, it's not about doing more. It's about honing in on those critical levers for MRR, CAC, churn, or conversion. With me, we'll find those decisions that focus the business and make other people say, how did you do that? So, what other traditional consultants deliver in months, I can do in days. It's because I've sat where you are, I've made the decisions that you make, and I know how to use AI to get intelligence and insight that delivers speed to outcome. I only work with 10 executives at any time because I feel like that I need to be able to give you my commitment and focus. So I have 3 slots left. I promise you, if you work with me, you will see return. If you
Mm.
don't see value, I will give you back your money. So click here to qualify and let's go.
Okay, let's start with the very end. I love that click here to qualify, because in the end of the day, we are only fit for a certain type of clients that we kind of, again, we identify that, we match in terms of everything. So I like that call to action. Um, have you managed to condense it into like that same format? Because in the end of the day, I mean, yeah, like if you want to try to attempt it with my format, how would that look like?
So in my mind, this is not this is a discussion or it's a video clip. It's not if nobody's reading it. If I were really focused on trying to make somebody read it, um, then yes, I would try to condense it into, the 3 or 4 sentences that you showed me last week, but I haven't worked on that. At first, I was just trying to get to what is truly unique and differentiated about working with me. But yes, I do understand that if we're going to write it down, we need to get to a different format. And you can look at my website, but my website is not aligned to
No,
this.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
didn't mean to put you on the spot, but the reason why I like to put like short words here, because when I develop landing pages for my clients, I rely on these things here to come up with this little headline here and sub headline,
Yeah.
right? So,
1000%. Yes. And
so
so,
go for it.
as you know, my strategy to date is more around LinkedIn than it is about the website. And the website was built months ago for a specific purpose, which it no longer suits, right? And so definitely have to rework the website. But the LinkedIn is starting to be more aligned to this type of
That would
messaging and
be
this customer set.
that would be my deliverable to you in week 4. So in week
Oh,
4,
you're the best.
there you go. In week 4, I'm going to deliver for you
Yeah,
a landing page,
yeah.
and I'm going to
So I
show.
and
So, and that's why, the reason why we're doing this exercise is to arrive at a place where I could come up in collaboration with you, of course, with your approval.
yeah,
I could come up with a statement, like again, that says there's here we can address your ICP, telling them like I'm talking to you,
yeah.
and then here I'm telling them either about the dream outcome or their biggest pain.
Okay.
That's when this value proposition come to place. When we put short words in this format, we are able to use those wording to use them in the landing page, and then finally this one and the call to action. So this little part here of any website or any landing page, there's always going to be a headline, a sub headline, and a button. And this is the prime real estate. This is the most important. This is what people arrive on. For example, I started a new community called iebn.org, right? And I created that website or landing page for it. And again, it doesn't have to be complicated. Like for me, Inland Empire Business Network is my logo. And then here's a business networking in the Inland Empire. So if you're interested in business networking in the Inland Empire, you might consider to sign up. Get a curated list of all professional networking events in the IE delivered to your inbox once a month, completely free. So, and then here are the, again, addressing last minute resistance. It's completely free, no upgrades. You can unsubscribe anytime. We never share your email. So, and then you can have a lot more. Like for example, we can have. This is another client of mine that I worked for, and they are like, okay, rosacea has no cure, but it can be managed. Download our free rosacea management guide. Again, same real estate right there, engraved from the company's mission and vision and whatnot. And likewise, of course, my main website here, which is again addressing the target group and then delivering. So that's basically what we are trying to achieve here. And this all stems out from the value proposition. Mm-hmm. So I think, my task for next week is to build you that landing page. And I can definitely work out, I can work out something around what you said and maybe summarize what you just told me. We don't have to finish the articulation right now, but this is something for, the people listening out, like the people who are watching or listening to this. It will, like, once you have this 2-liners or 1-liner, it will make life so much easier for your thought process, for your team, if eventually you hire people, for whatever can come out from your brand later in the future. Your content, you could always end your content with something around your value proposition. Your connection offer that we're going to talk about next is also going to come out from this, because when you tell me the dream outcome is this, the connection offer is either the methodology of how, for example, my connection offer is the 10-step framework on my website, the downloadable PDF that people can download. So this is the one. This is my connection offer. So I am giving out my methodology in exchange for a connection with a prospect, right? Some people give a small version of the dream outcome in a connection offer format, because in the end of the day, what we need to achieve is creating a connection offer, and this connection offer could be a step-by-step guide, a video tutorial, a checklist, case study or report, strategy frameworks, or basically your methodology, or it could be like anything of value to your ICP that they're willing. Like, for example, I have collected over the years an Excel file with all the venture capital, angel investors, accelerators. At some point in my life, I wanted to go and start up a tech company. So I collected all of these Excel in a spreadsheet. And now I'm noticing that this could be also a connection offer. So now I'm also going to be offering that in exchange. Okay, well, I have this resource and I'm willing to give it to you, but let's talk. Maybe just subscribe to my newsletter, and if you don't like it at any times, unsubscribe. So I'm building that bridges and connection with people. So what would you think your connection offer in response to your value proposition could be? Like, let's say this SaaS executive that you work with, what would make them feel that they want to click and download something or watch something?
So I don't think they're gonna click and download something, number one. They may watch something, and that's where I'm building a clone uh, using Delphi, as you know, which would be my connection offer. So they don't have to talk to me and they don't have to apply, but they certainly can talk to my clone and get some insights that could be directionally correct. And that's where I'm getting my training my clone for.
What does the clone um, do, or like where is the value? I'm not questioning it. I'm not questioning. I'm just saying, if I am a SaaS and I see your clone, I mean, that's cool. That's definitely cool. I mean, I commented on your LinkedIn. It's pretty cool that you did that. It's pretty damn accurate and creepy. But
I thought my own voice sounded more wrong than the clone's voice did personally.
right, like, who am
Yeah.
I? Who am
Was
I?
that what did I say? I sound like that? Oh, terrible.
Yeah, so I think the clone demonstrate your capabilities as you are building AI factories to people. So the clone is kind of like a showcase of your abilities when it comes to these AI tools and your knowledge about them and how to handle them. But
It's more than that, though.
tell
It's
me.
more than that. So the clone has um, methodologies and case studies, for example. And so you literally could ask the clone a question about your business and get a perspective that would be aligned with what I would do. And that's the value. It's not just that it's some scripted thing. It's an intelligence. It is an AI clone. It's not, it's not a knowledge-based chatbot from the early 2000s. It is actually an AI. I have spent hours training it on my brain and my methodology, and now I have to start um, aligning it around use cases. And one of the use cases would be sort of a video, the what you have here is a video tutorial. And I think that might be something that I would do as a connection offer.
Very
It
cool.
isn't it isn't the only thing that I could do, but I think it is probably the thing that resonates most with me, because when I look at all these other things, I download a lot of stuff all the time and then I end up never looking at it, but I will but if there's something that kind of grabs my attention, which a clone will right now, because not that many people have them, um, and the clone is actually intelligent, which so far she appears to be, um, that that there is value in the clone itself, not just in my time, right? You can have my time too, but you also get the clone.
And the clone can interact in real time. Like
Yeah,
I can, as if like it's a chat GPT, but instead of a chat GPT, I can hear your voice coming out.
it's Betsy GPT.
But is it your voice coming out, or is it text coming out?
You can either text, or, as you heard in the recording from my LinkedIn post, it is my voice. Like, that's my voice, right? It was actually even a better voice of me than my voice is of me in that recording.
Yeah, and I love the pauses pretty much captures like how you speak, which is wonderful. Yeah, so
And by the way,
absolutely.
I have not done anything to modulate that at all or to try to get it to be better. So that's just the first raw iteration of, and not sponsored, but I'm kind of a fan at the moment of Delphi AI. Um, that's kind of the magic and capability of what they've been able to do in a very short time. And so I only can believe it will get better. And it was not that hard to create. And we talked about creating one for you. Really, it's a matter of signing up and then dumping in content that gives it your voice, as not so much your speaking voice, because you can always record a small snippet, even though I know you have a lot of versions of your speaking voice. But you can have audio, you can have video, you can have transcripts, documentation, articles, whatever you want, and all of that can go into the database of your clone, so to speak.
Is
And
it a
that's what
paid
the cool thing
service?
is. It is a paid service. $29 a month. Again, not sponsored, not sponsored. I'm not getting paid, but my God, $29 a month. And it's pretty high quality for very little effort on my part.
So for me to access your Delphi clone or your AI clone, um, do you want to gatekeep it with an email so that, if I want to, because you're paying for this, it took you a lot of time and money to develop this
It didn't
service,
take
the
me a lot of
training.
time. It didn't take me. I really want to put this in correct perspective. The amount of time that I spent uploading data was probably in total 3 or 4 hours, and that's just because it's slow to figure out all the things that I want to put in. So
No.
that's literally almost no time relative to how old I am.
Yes,
and
but
and $29 a month is, again, I I spend that much at Starbucks in a week.
so, that's an interesting discussion if you like to talk about, because the older you become and the wiser you become and the more knowledgeable you become and the more skilled you become, the more your time is more expensive. It's more valuable, right? Because like if you are like a 5 or 10 years old kid, I mean, you don't know a lot of things. So your time is pretty much not valuable to pretty much anybody. But with your skills and abilities and knowledge and all of this experience, now your 1 hour is worth a lot. And me and you, we are charging a lot of money for per hour for whatever, whether is it consultancy or whether doing a project. It's still expensive. What I'm trying to reach to here, or what I'm trying to say here, is that we need this project that you built, which is kind of a mini you in a way. I don't. I mean, one day maybe AI becomes better than us in all of its entirety, but right now I don't believe that the case. I think this AI clone is a feel of what it is like to be in your brain and to be working with you. And what we're doing with this landing page, we're gating this AI project that you built with a sign up form. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to convert traffic to come to your website into a person who is willing to communicate with. And we're not saying that it's a trap or anything. Well, you arrived on my website, right? If you want to connect with me, if you like me from LinkedIn, from other social media, if you like my content, you arrived on my website and I have something that I'm offering to you. It's kind of like, I don't know why the idea of having this exchange of emails becoming so taboo. I mean, I've heard some people who don't want to do it at all. I think about the physical world. Like if you're engaging in real time, in person, let's say you delivered a workshop in person. After the workshop, people come to you and you start talking to them. And
Hmm.
the first thing they do is like they exchange business cards. So why online people are, I think, I know why, because people are afraid of spam and all of that jazz, of the bad actors who have ruined this connection. But people have to differentiate that not everybody is the same, like, but in real life we happily exchange our business cards. So why in the digital world we're not doing it?
Well, because most people out there have not honored the fact that we said yes to giving them our information, whereas a human still honors the fact. And And then humans, being as lax as we are, often forget that we had the contact. So there's no real harm. There can be a lot of good, but there's no real harm. And so I think that's the problem. That's the problem. Um, and you and I are not going to overcome that fight. And in fact, I don't know if you're following. I think you also saw that I posted about this. I was in another forum where people were getting all excited about the fact that LinkedIn, excited in a negative way, about the fact that LinkedIn was using our data to train its AI. And we're asking really fairly basic binary questions. Is this good or is it bad? Well, there are trade offs, right? Like with everything else, there are trade offs. And by the way, if you think that it wasn't already using its data to train its algorithms before the age of AI, or your credit card, or your car, or your phone, your bank account, like your email, all these other forums and formats in a digital world that we have lived in since the 2000s are places that others have collected information about us. LinkedIn was just open about the fact that they are now adding an AI capability and they are going to use your data unless you explicitly opt out. Like, it's not like it's just it's just really funny the way people get heated up about it. I understand it. And I understand we've talked about this in the past too, sort of older versions of people needing to feel like they protect their knowledge, and Betsy's point of view, which is knowledge is a commodity and it's application that matters. And so again, I think we're in a really interesting point where the last generation of people who believe very strongly in IP and privacy in the way that we did 20 years ago are sort of feeling the pain of the world changing. And that's why it's harder to get digitally somebody's handshake, right?
I love what you said about the value of knowledge. The value of knowledge is in its application and not in itself.
1000%.
I wrote an email to my subscribers yesterday, and I was saying that, I'll be sending you in the next emails. I'll be sending you nuggets of my strategy in digestible formats, and here's what you can do with it. Number one, steal the heck out of it and apply it. And I don't want anything from this. I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not selling knowledge. Personally, I sell implementation. I sell accountability, like what we're doing right now with you. I don't think I'm bringing a lot of new things. And maybe if I do, I haven't created them. Most of the knowledge, like, I stand on the shoulder of giants. I've learned all of this stuff from so many different people. So I don't sell knowledge. I've never thought about knowledge and ideas to be things to sell. I really, what my time is used for is education, or basically dissemination of that same knowledge. Accountability, like holding a client accountable to produce the results that they want. In the end of the day, it's their business, right? And then finally, if there's a technical thing that I know about, like, for example, how to connect your landing page to your email management platform so that you can have a drip campaign. As soon as someone signed up, you will send them an automatic welcome email, or you will attach your lead magnet into that email. Like, if they don't know how to produce this stuff, I can help implement them, and they will pay me for my time for that. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure that you or anyone else could go to YouTube and how to do this. And then, not even YouTube, you can go to ChatGPT, Dave, and ask them how to connect my landing page into my email management platform. And they will tell you. It's just that it's all comes back to time. The time it will take you to learn things, you either can pay with time or you pay with money. So because I've spent the time to learn all of this, it becomes very quick for me. Like, I can do this stuff in almost no time because I've done it so many times. So for you, it's going to take probably some time to develop all of these skills. So basically, you're exchanging time for money, and that's what it is. I think not only me. I think all agency model, like the business model of an agency or of a consultant or whatever, has to revolve around these. It's either accountability, education, and implementation. That's the package that we're selling.
So I do think that I'm not 1000% that we're selling implementation, right? Because I, as one person, can't implement across an entire organization, but I can help you define your blind spots in your accountability system. I can help you set up a WIP. I can help you see when the accountability is not happening. But I myself am not your implementer as a solopreneur, right? So just a slight distinction. And then I do also believe that one of the things that I feel like is a shift that anybody needs to make, particularly if they're senior and they haven't been doers in a long time, is you can't just blindly outsource something to somebody and say, oh, they're going to do it for me, they'll implement. You have to have a basic knowledge of what is good and what an acceptable outcome is so that you can judge it properly. And I say this as somebody who's spent a lot of time in the last couple of weeks with a couple different clients in looking, you know, at why conversion might not be happening on their websites. And again, I'm not a marketing genius like you are. I just am looking at the basics of what should drive conversion, and I don't see it. And I know that they're spending a lot of money on these sites, right? And so they spent money, they got an agency to do the thing, but they didn't understand enough about what good was in order to judge the outcome properly. And that's where my teaching and my expertise and my ability to ask questions and to train them to ask questions comes in, right? Because, as another example, somebody reached out to me and he said, well, I want a vendor to automate my sales SOP. And sure, I can do that in 15 minutes, but that's not what I do. And I said, I don't think you should pay anybody without understanding what it takes to automate so that you know what good looks like. And I'm happy to spend time with you on that. And so I feel very strongly that in this time, it is not about getting somebody to do something for you if you don't understand what you're trying to get to. And that's why I appreciate your approach, which is to spend a lot of time with education and saying, this is what it's supposed to look like. And these are the outcomes that we're going to get to together.
Yes. And you mentioned something very, very important and nice, which is we don't know what we don't know. Like a lot of the executives or whatever, they think that they need this to be handled, but they don't know what is coming from it, what is the details around it, what is a good outcome, as you mentioned, look like. So absolutely spot on, Betsy. I think we're in a point where we identified the lead magnet, which would be your AI clone. So engaging with your AI clone would be something that executives could get a feel of what it is like to work with you, and hopefully they will put their email there. And then when we do that, then we will send them a welcome message on their email, and then we will connect them directly to your AI clone after they sign up. And then we can have a series of emails that will pretty much break the ice between you and that stranger. Show your personality, get them to know you as a human being, right? Share some videos that you made, podcasts, share some nuggets of information. Basically, you will have, and when you have an email list, it's like you have a tribe. You have people that you would expect that they belong to your circle, your professional circle. And that's how I look at my email list. I look at them as these are in my professional circle. They haven't, they have, consented to receive emails from me. So I need to make it valuable to them. I need to make this email coming to their inbox a pleasant guest in their inbox and not like something they want to dread. And that's why I have so high open rates, because I care about every email that goes out. I think my open rates are in the 60s, which is unheard of in the industry. Yeah. So yeah, I pride myself of every email, and I don't send a lot because I don't want to overwhelm people. But when I send, I pack it with value. Every word is thought of. So
Yeah.
awesome. Excited for next week. We're gonna put things together, and we're gonna be finally showing off your landing page to everybody. So I'm excited to do that.
Amazing.
Wonderful. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm ready.
Awesome. Okay. Well, see you everyone in the final week next Saturday, where we conclude this little program, and then hopefully we do this again. All right.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.